I'm in debt up to my eyeballs, well over $100,000. And I want to give you hope if you are in the same circumstance as me. I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of my strategy to get out of debt using velocity banking. And I'm doing velocity banking without a home equity line of credit or a HELOC, as you will hear, or any other equity line of credit. I'm just using my credit cards and my income to do this. And so I'm going to give you a breakdown and invite you to join me on this journey. If you look on the screen here, I'm showing you a little layout of everything that I have. First of all, if you take over to the left side here, these are all of the different debts that I have to pay off. And I keep a running sheet here, a tally of what and how much is due on each credit card and when it is due. It is very important that you're keeping track of these due dates, that you're not making late payments. I've fallen into late payments before, and I realized, oh my goodness, that was really bad. I worked super hard to get out of late payments, but if you can work super hard to get out of late payments, and you can continue to work super hard to get out of debt altogether. I want to note that I am playing one little mental trick on myself, and to disclose that to you, which is this. I actually have my payment due dates moved up by a day for these credit cards. I want to eventually get to the point where I am paying the min balance on every credit card the day it comes out. In other words, the day the statement releases instead of waiting until the week before it is due. So my goal will be to slowly move those dates up. And so certain credit cards that might actually end up being due at the end of the month, I might start paying off the minimums by the middle of the month with the goal of getting a full month ahead. I'm looking ahead for the week of January 14th through the 20th. I already have my payment scheduled for my credit card that is due tomorrow. I'm looking ahead, credit cards 1 through 7, and if you see NOVB, that means no velocity banking. That's a credit card that I have to pay the balance on, but I cannot use it in my velocity banking strategy here. We can dig more into that. If you have questions, let me know. But everything is paid then through the 13th. Now, most of my payouts for the work that I do come through on Tuesdays. So I need to make sure that I have enough money in the bank here for all these bills that are starting to be due Tuesday. Now, some of these bills are not going to be due till later, but I'm going to give a quick breakdown. So first of all, I have a one credit card with a payment of $140, $295, $431.48, $422, and $93. And if you see all those here, you can tally them up, and I'll actually tally them up for you just so you can see here briefly. This is what I have to pay on credit cards next week. $1,381.48. Now, I also have some other bills. Some of them are monthly bills and some of them are recurring weekly bills. Okay, so you can see all of those here. We've got just kind of a rough food budget of $250 per week. Of course, we don't always hit that, but I like to have the margin. Gas for $120. Again, that depends on how much I'm out delivering on any given week. Some weeks gas is a lot higher. And then I just have health, beauty, and miscellaneous as a random $125. This can cover anything that's needed for just random household stuff, school things, anything that comes up where it's like, oh, okay, we don't have a specific amount, but I find, especially with our kids in school this year, there's lots of times there's just random fees or opportunities that come up, and we want to have that money set aside. Rent. I'm trying to set out a quarter of my month's rent every single week. That way it's not this large chunk that I have to pay off at the end of the month. Now, there are variables here, right? Because I don't have to do that. Also, eBay purchases. I'm trying to budget myself $200 a week to buy items to flip on eBay because I want to make sure that I have that money available. Now, anything that you see in pink here is all going to be tied back to credit card number 9, which is going to be my primary card that I'm going to be using for velocity banking over the next chunk. And why did I pick that one? Well, simply because that is the credit card that has the highest monthly payment that is due that I can use for velocity banking. So I'm going to be using that because I want to get that monthly payment down. Obviously, it'd be nice to not have to pay that $431 every month, and we'll work that down until it gets low enough, and then we'll switch to another card. So you also have here, so that rent doesn't have to be paid. There's also my phone bill is due next week, and then I have an Affirm loan that I have to pay off, and then my Apple subscriptions that I have to pay off. And I believe that is ChatGPT and MyLIQ, something like that. Maybe a couple of things in there. All right, then you see over here we have the monthly bills. Now, these are dated, but there are a few of them here. So I have 3 of them that I have as skippable. They're skippable bills. It's really nice to have these built in. So in other words, my goal is to use them and to have the money for them. But if the money is not there, we have a bailout on all these things. This is ButcherBox. They are a subscription service that we use to get high quality meat. And I am looking to be eating healthier. And so I do want to use ButcherBox on a monthly basis. But if the money's not there, that's something that we can skip. We're trying to save up money for our car account. Now, specifically, the car savings is kind of money in, money out. All the money that I take in from YouTube and the Patreon is going to our car savings account. So it's kind of a separate thing, but I'm still putting it on here because my goal is to be setting aside at least $250 a month for a car. And then Plexus, which is also another subscription service that we use for clean energy and different things like that. There are affiliate links for ButcherBox and Plexus down below if you're interested in them. But in other words, I have this ability to use these on any point in time of the month that I want to. Okay, the rest of everything else here is set up here. Now, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into all of the bills that I'm paying because I'm going to be looking to possibly get rid of my T-Mobile, which is my car internet. I am also going to consider getting rid of Canva because I just haven't been using it enough. I'm using a free program that's good enough for now, so I think I can save $15 a month there. So I'm going to be looking for ways to cut things down. We also have our car insurance is renewing. That's why it's a question mark right now because I don't know what the new bill is going to be. It's already paid through January, maybe even through February, but certainly paid through January and until I know what that's going to be, but I'm still going to leave it up here until I know that. So some of these things like this Affirm and the other Affirm, there's 2 of them here, right? Those are ones that will eventually get paid off. But I'm just putting those as a monthly bill right now because that's essentially how they're functioning. They're just a payment that's due every month that I can't draw anything out of. Now, you could say the same thing about these other credit cards, but I'm leaving them there because it's just, I need to see the credit card in one spot versus the other bills. So the goal will be to pair up as many of these January 14th through 20th expenses with the credit cards that I can use. Anything in pink, I'm going to pair up with my primary card. The rest of them, I will look to find other credit cards that have similar payouts to them. You can see here I have a Verizon bill for $165 and the Affirm and the Apple subs. All of those combined might actually fit on credit card number 8. So I may be able to put all of those on there. I will pay the min balance on credit card 8 and then use the equity from what I paid off to potentially pay off the Verizon, the Affirm, and the Apple subscriptions. That way that is all done. The rest of the expenses then for the week will go on here on this Velocity card, which is the primary card, credit card number 9. I am just a newbie in this. I will put a link to a couple other channels down in the description below that have helped me tremendously. If you have any questions, please ask them down below. The one way that you can help me is by supporting this channel. I'm taking this on and I'm taking it on without fear. I'm taking it on actually with energy and excitement.